Hello everybody, I'm going to be showing you how to farm those gems and magic balls that you need so you can roll all your banner units and get all those units that you want so desperately. To do this, you're going to need, first of all, you're going to need Tiny Task. You should be able to find it, I'll link it in the description if I can put it in there. And you're going to need Sukuna for his ability. I use Albedo for slowing down enemies as well as damaging. And you use Idle for unit buffs. Senko, I have gold 3, Osto is only gold 1. And I'm using Rimuru. He's kind of new, but I'm sure he'll work for this. Before I was using Rimuru, I was using Shouting. My Shouting was this one. It has Capricorn on it. With fairly decent stats. But you should be able to do this with any other stat if you're already able to, like, clear the Honey Rush. There's any unit that you can do it with. And Honey Rush is a 30 wave boss rush. So you're going to want to go ahead and go into solo. Once you're in solo, you're going to want to turn around, go back towards the end. With my setup, I find I can put down units here and be completely fine with it. So you click fast wave. You vote yes to start. You don't have to do fast wave, I don't think, but it does make it a lot easier. And what you're going to want to do is for this first starting wave, you're going to want to lose. Then you can start running your Tiny Task. And the reason we want to lose is we want to be able to see that retry button pop up. So when we lose, we can start our Tiny Task from the very beginning, because we're going to constantly be going up to wave 30, and then we're going to win, then we're going to click retry, then we're going to start the fast wave, we're going to click yes to start the waves, and then we start placing down our units. But to do that, we need to lose, so I'll be back with you when I've lost. Okay, I'm back. Now that we've lost, there's a couple things we need to keep in mind. I made it to wave 22 just because every single one of the units that had spawned had been walking enemies, but you're going to want to be able to place down your Sukuna around wave 6 and use his ability, because there are some units on wave 1 that'll spawn in running, and if you don't have any units down, they'll just run straight past you and they'll beat you by wave 10 or so. Sometimes wave 7, which is why you need to place down your Sukuna on wave 6 and have his ability popped up. And you want to angle your camera down a little bit so you can place down all your units effectively. One thing you can do is you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your keyboard to pull out your units instead of during the script clicking on your units and putting them down where you want them. Just use the number and then drag your mouse to where you want the unit to be and it'll be there. Make sure you're not using right click to move your camera around. If you move your camera around, it'll break the game. If you move your character at all, it'll break the script and you'll move way off into the corner. Just try and be careful when you're recording. Don't move at all. Don't look around. Don't scroll in and out. It'll just leave it alone. You only want to be moving your mouse and left clicking. That's all you want. That's all. Bye. And when you start, the way I have my recording key set up is F8, and then playback will be Control-Shift-Alt-P. So to start the recording, you just click on your window that you have. You click F8, click again on the window, and then click retry, fast wave, click yes. And what you want to do immediately is place down your farm units. Hello, I don't say this in the video, but make sure when you click on your unit, you click T to upgrade it and don't click on upgrade. It doesn't really change anything, but it's a lot easier and it makes it easier to just run through it, and that's all. Bye. Remember, you can farm until about, let's say, wave 5 is when you want to be able to have your Sukuna placed down and ready to go. So just try and farm up as much money as you possibly can by the time wave 5 comes around. And remember not to click off your window or do anything while this is running. This is only for idle farming. You can't really use your computer while this is going on, which is why I put it on and turn it on when I go to sleep. And when I come back, I have tons of gems and magic balls. So place down the Sukuna on wave 6, upgrade him a little bit, use his domain. Then go back to farming as much as you can. Remember, this is going to pop about 30 times if you watch my Sukuna showcase. The shrine activates about 30 something times while doing damage. Now some enemies are going to survive this just because if you didn't upgrade them at the start. Make sure your units are upgraded. Then you're going to want to place down your units. I like to place mine in a fancy way. You don't have to place yours in any fancy way if you don't want to. But upgrade Sukuna. And then I'll upgrade Rimuru just because he's useful. He does a lot of damage at the start. And he has a big AoE circle. And with Rimuru, you have another ability that you can pop that also does damage. Where if you just have Sukuna, you can't do that. There you go. Rimuru's maxed out. Upgrade Idol first, probably. And then you can start upgrading your Albedos. If you're using Albedo. Now, what you do want to do is save your abilities until about the end. You don't need to be popping your abilities constantly. Otherwise, it can lead to you ending up losing. Or it can end up taking a long time just for the fact that you have to wait for your ability. But the main reason why you don't want to pop them is because Ions is a really slow, walky, tanky boss. Which brings me up to my next point, is if you don't get Ions on wave 30, you have to restart this whole process. Ions has the most HP out of any of the bosses in this boss rush. So when you get to wave 30, you want Ions so he can suck up your damage. I think he has a max of 7 million HP on wave 30. And you're gonna want that Ions. Because then it'll absorb a certain amount of damage that you want. This whole thing takes about 7-8 minutes per attempt. So 2,000 magic balls, 2,000 gems, 2,000 honey, and then whatever amount of coins you get, I think it's 2,000 as well. But you get 2,000 per 7 minutes. I think in about 7 minutes and 30 seconds. You do have to be careful, which is why you need the stun, but like Albedo, is because your units can get stunned also by one of the bosses. So when you have Albedo, you can also stun the boss as soon as your units come out of that stunned state, which is what makes it so good. Is because if your units are stunned and there's a guy running past blitzkrieging all your units, Albedo can stop that from happening. And once you're on wave 30, you want to wait a little bit so you can make sure all the units spawn. Use Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine. And remember, we're looking for the boss health bar of Ions. There we go. See how Ions popped up there? That's exactly what we want. That means we won't be able to kill him hard enough. Even with Sukuna's 30 hits over his 120,000 damage, it still won't kill him, even though Sukuna's almost perfect with his stats and everything. Even if I use Rimuru here, it wouldn't be able to kill the 7 million HP boss. So we're gonna need to wait for Sukuna's cursed malevolent shrine again before we do anything. Now, if you want to be able to use your computer while this is running in the background, now is the perfect chance while you're waiting for this cooldown. As long as you don't move your mouse won't snap back to the Roblox screen. You just need to do an additional step if you're planning on using your computer during this time of the cooldown. You get like 2.5 minutes of a window period, so if you're watching YouTube or something while you're letting this run in the background, this is perfect. Now remember, you have to have ions. If you don't have ions, then you get all the rewards, and it's like, it's just annoying. Just make sure you're not moving your mouse during this time at all. And definitely don't take it off the window of Roblox. Otherwise, it will record your mouse movements. And you don't want to be clicking off your window while this script is running, because who knows what's going to happen if you have a raw window open and it just starts clicking on things. You could constantly pause a YouTube video if you paused it for a second while you're running Tiny Task, and you try to just turn it on over and over again. It just will constantly pause it every how many times you clicked on YouTube or anything else. Okay, now the Malevolent Shrine back, you can click on it, or if you're someone who clicked off your monitor to go do something else, you can click on Roblox again and click out of that window, click on Sukuna, click on Malevolent Shrine. Don't interact with it. You will get the completion pop-up, but wait until the Malevolent Shrine is completely over with. So when the shrine disappears and the lines disappear, that's when you're gonna wanna... I move down to the bottom right and I just spam click. You want to do this for about 10 seconds, if not a little bit more. I'm still clicking, even though I didn't get anything, but that's because Malim can be another pop-up. And there we go. The recording's over, and I'll just do a speed run. I'll just speed it up and show you how it works. So, Control-Shift-Alt-P, it's playing by itself now. It'll loop as many times as it needs to. It'll place down all my units. It'll upgrade them. This is what I was talking about, which is why you need to make sure you have Ainz as one of the final bosses that show up, is because otherwise this will happen, where you'll be stuck in this screen. But if you deal enough damage to Ainz, as when he has 7 million HP, if you can deal 7 million HP at the end, then obviously you're gonna be fine if you have a unit that does that many like ticks or that much damage, if not more. You'll be completely fine to be able to just finish wave 30 in 5 minutes. It's way quicker than having to wait 8 minutes. But it will not work if you have a unit that does not deal 7 million damage, because 7 million is the highest HP that Ainz will have on wave 30. So if you try and stop now, you will not be able... It'll mess up the recording that you have set. So you need to have Ainz. If as a boss at the end of the wave, you need to have Ainz if you don't deal enough damage right at the end. And now that that's done, it's gonna click in the bottom right, just how I did. when I was recording, and it'll bring up this menu. And when it's done, it'll go and try and click retry. When it's done looping, there we go. And it'll click retry, and it'll start all over again. And that's basically all you need to do if you're trying to farm up those gems or magic balls, or if you're trying to farm honey so you can get stuff like the food and the stat rerolls and the trait rerolls and stuff from the current store for the honeys. Or if you're trying to get the evolution items from the honey rush, like the honey bottle and demon lord throne, even if you want the arise roll bundle. This just has 100,000 gems in it, and another thing that I forget. But if you're just trying to get all this stuff, and you do that over and over again while you're sleeping, or just watching YouTube in the background, if you have another monitor, you can just use this and you can just buy tons of rerolls. They do have limits on them, so you won't be able to do it forever, but you will be able to save up a ton of honey, and you're not really doing it for the honey anyways, you're doing it for the magic balls and the gems. So you can reroll those perfect units that you want from either the normal banner or even the event banner if you're trying to get Eins, or if you're trying to get yourself an idol as well. And that's about all. Thank you for watching, and goodbye!